I know you have being prepared first is one of your points, and that's really important. But I would love to just have you talk real quickly about your gallivanting all over the place and that part of your education and how impactful that was for you. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, totally. I fully took advantage of Michigan State's education abroad resources. And after my freshman year, I went to South Africa, like I mentioned on the first podcast, to do a cheetah rewilding program. And then my sophomore year, I spent a week in Iceland for a geology class, but I was able to tour a geothermal power plant and hydropower plant, which were amazing for me. And then this past year, I spent a semester in New Zealand. And there I just learned all kinds of things. I took 4 classes over there that transferred back to MSU, and their culture just really embodies taking care of the environment and being one with the environment, I would say.
But being prepared. Let's just take it right from the top, girl. You got a good 4 minutes, 5 minutes to go in this segment. I'll give you the signal, but talk about being prepared and what you've learned and all of that coming onto campus the first time. I mean, we talked about that in your first visit with us, but go ahead, your time, please go.
Um, just to preface before I even start with any of my advice that I have learned over the years is that I am still actively trying to incorporate in my life. But for the first segment, I wanted to talk about being prepared, and it's a lesson that I learned pretty early on into my college career, which had a very simple story to it. Moving to Texas, don't really have a winter there. So experiencing the first winter weekend at Michigan State was a shock to me. And it had me questioning whether I even made the right decision of coming to Michigan State because I just had never experienced anything like that. And then once, my parents, they were like, okay, you need to get a coat, you need to get gloves, you need to get snow pants, long johns, all the whole get up. And once I was able to get the appropriate clothing, it made the winter a lot more easier and bearable. So what I learned was that being prepared is very crucial to surviving whatever you're in.
What's so important about that to you, doing that presentation?
I was just for one, very grateful to have the opportunity to share my global learning experience because it was very unique and vital to my studies. But why I put that down was I created my presentation in a script a month before the presentation, and I didn't open my script until the night before at 11 p.m. And thus, I was super scared and nervous that I just, for the first part of the presentation, just read off my script, didn't look up, was too scared, and then slowly I started like easing my nerves and was able to like speak from the heart. But I just wanted to point out that even though I prepared a script for it, I didn't actually prepare for the presentation. And had I had done that, I think that for me at least, the presentation would have gone a lot better. So the importance of being prepared for things.
Okay, there you go. I mean, but it was another learning experience for you. And I
Hmm.
love your humility again, talking about humility and throwing yourself down there and saying, I could have done a better job, but you appreciated the opportunity. There you go. Just be a big girl, put on your big girl pants, and away you go. I mean,
Hmm.
that's it. Anna Thomas, succeeding in higher ed, 4 tips. Another good tip might be 5 or 6 tips. Getting a job early in college. Yeah,
Yes.
what about that? You worked at the gym too. You got a little
Yes,
time.
Tom got me the job.
That
Thank
was just a minor easy thing to do, but you did
hmm
more really important work out there. But it was nice
Yeah.
that you got to know those people at the gym too.
Yeah, the IM West is a really good community, and I loved all the people I worked with. I got to know them, and then I'd see them at the gym and, fist bump, all that jazz. It was great. But yes, I think that getting a job is early on in college is super important. For one, it kept me out of trouble. Not that I was in going to be in that much trouble, but I think it's really vital for figuring out what you want to do with your major and getting as much field experience it's important to get field experience and understand what you like from certain jobs and especially what you don't like. I worked at IM West on campus and the anaerobic digester, which is a biogas operations. We take cow manure and other like waste feed and other organic.
Biodegradable things.
Yep, thank you. other organic inputs and make electricity from it. And then I also worked at a company called EDL, which is the one that offered me a full-time position. Shout out EDL. Which also takes landfill gas and makes electricity or renewable natural gas from it.
What
So
would the well, what would the excuse me, but what would the position be with EDL?
right now I'm a compliance intern. So I would be on the compliance team and we track emissions, we make sure we're in line with our permits and like that we're not deviating from any permits we have. Basically just regulatory compliance is what we would work on.
How do you want people to connect with you there, Tex? You want people to bounce you some social media, or what would you prefer?
Yeah, my LinkedIn, you can just look me up, Anna Thomas. I've been slowly but surely building it with all of the work experience that I've been getting. What? And then my TikTok, it's Anna Thomas with three S's, seven. On there, you'll see my Starbucks review videos and also my hiking videos. I started making hiking vlogs. But yeah, pretty much all social media is Anna Thomas with three S's, seven.
So balance. You said one of your key takeaways from NZ was, go ahead.
Was balance. Um, Acknowledging that I was only exposed to a small population of New Zealand. I went to Lincoln University. It was population of 4,000, so a lot smaller than
Wow.
than Michigan State. It's 50,000.
What are the students over there in New Zealand? What did they think when you told them at your school is like 60,000?
They thought I was just crazy. But I think it's also part of it was that it was an agriculture school. So maybe if you took like Michigan State's agriculture school and separate it into being its own entity, then it would be kind of comparable. But obviously, it's amongst the sea of 50,000 students. So
Right. And we have 19 colleges at Michigan State, so it's like, okay, well, yeah, it's
yeah.
one of the 19. So
hmm
that's why they call it a university. But yeah, that's interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, it just felt like that their culture was a lot more slow. And I noticed that there was no classes before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. And like they really respected that 9 to 5. Unlike here, we have 8 a.m.s, we have six to 9 p.m. classes. And I like the balance of it where okay, they were like focused working during these hours, and then after that they would go home and eat dinner with their roommates and things like that. Um, so just like having more balance in their lifestyle, but also incorporating it back into my life because I work part-time, probably usually 20 hours a week, and then I'm a full-time student. So trying to, and then doing homework outside of the class time. So it's just like trying to find things that fill my cup up more amongst doing all these other work type things.
And
But
you got to have a little bit of balance too,
yeah.
girl, right?
I know. And I'm still struggling on doing this. But one of the things like talking about basketball is that last semester I did a boxing class, kinesiology boxing class, and then this semester I chose to do a basketball class. And I think that something I wish I had done earlier on in my college career is picking classes that I'm happy and enjoy taking to balance out the stressful ones that are required for my major.
So what else about the balance? What about the social end of balance in your life? Because you're so dang busy and you have a lot of friends. I mean, how do you balance that out? How do you make sure that the friend groups are like stable people and how's that work?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a struggle because obviously there's not a lot of time left in the day with everything that I have already set into my schedule. But luckily, living with my roommates who are my friends, that's an easy way to see them. And then we'll always have our friends over, things like that. But I realized, which is maybe not the healthiest way to go about things, but the more busy I am, the more productive I am. So when I know, oh, my friends want to hang out at 8 p.m. and I have 2 hours to do homework, I have to get my homework done because I want to have fun with my friends.
Right, that's a big one. So I'm just going to let you riff on this there, girlie. Go for it. I'll interrupt you. You know how I'm good at interrupting you. So
hmm
I'll just jump in and interrupt you say at some point. Go ahead.
Yeah, so college, I think, is a really good time to experiment and be whoever you want to be. You can have all these different personalities. Who cares? Just try new things, move across the world. One specific example that comes to my mind is before college, I I've always been an outdoorsy person, but I wasn't super into hiking. I liked it, but I never sought it out. And if I was to take my advice, I experimented. I started going on hiking more. And if I took half my advice, it would be, okay, I hiked up a hill, hiked down the hill, and called it good. But then taking it further and being present and attentive would help me realize, okay, this is something I actually really enjoy doing, and figuring out what exactly do I like about it. Well, I like to accomplish something difficult. I like feeling like my body is working towards doing something difficult. I like seeing different landscapes, unique environments across the world, giving me a greater sense of purpose and reason to fight for a more sustainable future. And then taking it further, thinking like, how do I incorporate this into my life now and in the future? Do I want something, or do I want to incorporate this into my future career? Do I want it to be just a hobby where I travel and hike? But like the importance of actually like being attentive to things that fill your cup up and using that to like gather data points slowly throughout your college career and trying to build a life and career that is fulfilling for you because you know that these things are something you thoroughly enjoy doing.
Tell the listeners who perhaps haven't been around for something like that, your experience with that, the first just coming in as a freshman and meeting all these people and all these clubs and all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't give you a number or like even a ballpark estimate of how many different clubs that MSU has on campus.
Hundreds.
Hundreds, yeah. But basically, just a giant field, and there is rows and rows and rows of all the different clubs that MSU has to offer. Quite overwhelming, but there is a club for quite literally everything you can think of. And then if there isn't a club, then guess what? You're going to be the founder and the president of it. Um, yeah, just like all these different hobbies and groups that you didn't know you'd be interested in. I obviously joined the environmental club and I found my roommate, one of my roommates now, the other Anna. Uh, she was one of the first people I met in that club and has been a really good friend ever since.
Have you been in that club all your college career?
Yep.
There you
Hmm.
go, you guys. See, here's the thing. I would have never in a million years thought that there's such a thing as an environmental club. I mean, what the heck does an environmental club do?
Well, we have it was actually founded the year I got there, and we have speakers that come to our meetings and they'll talk about whatever career they have, or we'll do volunteering events like doing park cleanups, removing invasive species, going to neighborhood cleanups, just like things like that, where we're actually getting involved with the community, and then obviously networking within ourselves where we're meeting people that are in our classes, building relationships, just everything. It's a really good club. ESSU.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Environmental club. All right, keep going. I mean, talk about with the balance. We can't forget about your fitness because you're a gym rat. You're a
Mm-hmm.
high school basketball player. You're a really good athlete, and so and don't start getting all humble on me and give me the humble pie stuff. But talk about that. How you as a because when you come out of high school and you're an athlete in high school, and then you're not an athlete in college, it's kind of a different thing for you, isn't it? Because you had so much structured time going through middle school and high school with all your sports. I know this
Mm-hmm.
for a fact, being a coach and seeing my grandkids going through this stuff now. It's like I know, right? So what do you do with yourself?
Yeah, that was definitely a big adjustment because you go from practicing 6 days a week to practicing no days a week. But I did honestly enjoy having the less structure and more availability to do things that I wanted to do, like go try this new workout class or go lift on your own and like get to do exercises that you actually want to do. And I think that I probably filled that structure void that I was missing with work. So then I was starting to have structured mornings where I would have, you know, I would work each day, things like that. But yeah, just
It's that helps. That makes you function. I mean, for you,
yeah.
you got to have the calendar. I mean,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a calendar, and that's another tip for the balance. you guys really dive into your calendar. I mean, if you don't have your calendar, if you don't have that skill set as if a calendar like an anatomist and that structure like she's talking about, you're gonna
Oh
you're
my
gonna get
gosh.
run over. You're
If I
gonna
was
get.
disorganized, oh,
What about the freshman 15? You never really did that. I mean, the freshman 15 is kind of a thing, everybody. If you haven't heard of that before, it's where
mm-hmm,
kids come in. And again, that goes right back where I'm going with this, Anna, is because of the high school sports stuff, where you go being so active to being just an academic person, you lose all that activity. You can tend to put on, the freshman 15.
mm-hmm.
You didn't do that though. Was it just your work, or was it just your structure, or what was it?
Freshman year, I didn't have a job. I think that it definitely, well, I would say overall I have very healthy like a very healthy lifestyle when it comes to like physical activity and also the nutrition aspect of it, something that I've always been passionate about. But I could see how that would happen given that we have eight or nine different dining halls on campus with unlimited food, all you can eat at every single dining place. And then we have our combos where I would do all my Starbucks videos. But I think that like when I would go, I would choose healthy options. And given how big our campus is, the walking and the biking back and forth, that's another form of exercise on top of me going to the gym. So I never seemed like it was going to be an issue for me, I would say.
I saw a video recently where a young woman transferred out of Michigan State because she was on one side of the campus, and our campus is huge, everybody. There's no question about it. It's a Power Five school, Big Ten, no doubt. It's big, 60,000 students. It's got 500 plus buildings on campus, counting all the farms. But this young woman transferred out because she had a 55-minute walk from the far east side of campus to the far west side of campus for a class,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
It
and
happens.
it happens. I luckily lived in the center of campus my freshman year, but like I just got a bike. It's so efficient to bike. I
Did you
don't
ever bus? Did you ever use the bus system?
rarely. I think I would say maybe a total of 5 times.
Need a 30-second takeaway from your time at Michigan State. What's your takeaway from today's episode?
Takeaway is that senior year of high school me is a whole lot different than senior year of college me. And I am very proud of the person that I've become and the steps that I've taken to be who I am. And I just want to say big thank you to Michigan State and every person that I've met that has helped me become who I've become. And I'm very grateful that it was my home for the last 4 years
There you
because
go.
I can't
Hopefully,
imagine it any other way.
I can't. I got to tell you, that girl, she is so unbelievable. I don't know how I get so lucky to meet these young people, but Anna Thomas is a special, special, special young woman. And she got it going on. And she's so smart. She's a typical young person, though. So it's like she's humble enough where she'll ask questions and she downplays all of her success. But she's so great. I give her parents a lot of credit. They did a really good job with her. Succeeding in higher ed, 4 tips plus 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 with Anna Thomas, all her traveling all over. Hope you enjoyed that, everybody. I'm Papa Tom. We will talk to you next time. Please subscribe, comment, do whatever you want to do on our social media. TikTok's starting to really cook. Who knew? I have no idea. I just roll with this stuff, you guys. Till next time. Love y'all. Thank you so much for what you do. Peace out. Have a great day.